So what we're going to be talking about doing is really taking some of the innovations in technology, and we throw a bit of FPGA words in there, but we're building a standalone non-public network, so a private network. And the kind of bigger vision here is to take some of the things that we're really involved in the last few years with a number of champions and partners, and everything wireless in the performing arts. So we've done things in stadia, we've done some great outdoor and live events, and we get the chance to go international last year, but now trying to keep it a bit more local. And maybe the vision is everything that's inside performing arts, whether a theatre or whether open air or whether maybe even just a kind of a community level, whether it's Wi-Fi, whether it's cable, let's put everything in 5G, or microphones, or motion capture, and so on. So that's the vision, and we know there's a lot of technical challenges in there. We also know there's a real opportunity to find great solutions and demonstrate something very real with the Accelerator, with the support of champions and support of technologists. So kind of going indoors, and that's what we're trying to do. Quick to rig, we want to be green as well, so a couple of green comments so we'll come up. The innovative solutions that that we're going to try and bring is a lot of experience from the previous years, and we've used N77 for anyone in the UK who's familiar with that frequency band. It's a kind of a shared band, but we can now access spectrum, and that's one of the most exciting things that we've found about 5G technologies and solutions. We can now do it because we can access that spectrum. And we've some other ideas about other possible spectrum with other partners that we might be able to use. And it's all about low latency, audio, video, and green screen and motion capture. These are the things that we think we can demonstrate with the support of the right champions and partners. And glass to glass and sub-4 frames, that's what we're going to aim for. People in the auditorium, people watching from elsewhere. We've spoken to a number of champions and partners, so we have a kind of a blended list here of some of the technologists that we need, some of the champions that we'll hope will be with us, and then folks like the Royal Shakespeare Company, and the dialogue has started, although we're bringing in that type of grouping. And we also want to bring in community-level grouping as well, not just the highbrow. So we have a very interesting theatre in Glasgow, a very old music hall where we think we can do some magic, as in real magic, with illusions, one called Pepper's Ghost. Industry impact and vision, well, we want this to be very accessible. It's got to be low cost. The previous work we were involved in was low cost, and we did take the 5G non-public network in a box on the plane. So these types of things we still want to do in this performing arts, but even smaller. So we think we can bring some innovations from some of the technology partners. So new workflows, lightweight, we want to be green, so we've called it a 100-watt light bulb here for anyone who remembers 100-watt light bulbs. We're looking to be very low in power with the radios that we think we can bring. Portable, could go anywhere, could be permanent, could be semi-permanent, could be pop-up. Malcolm, do you want to give any kind of vision of green screening and things before I close?
Yeah,
and there's a microphone if you wish.
Okay, yeah, go on. So the idea of this sub-4 frame and using what we've learned already in the last 3 years, working with IBC and, as Bob said, with our sports broadcasters and outdoors, want to bring all of this indoors, and working with a high-power laser rear projection, we think we can build rapid deployed scenery or sets that we can actually bring up multiple sets, so we could have a performance in Birmingham interacting with Glasgow using these high resolution powerful projectors. So, and a bit of mocap from Noitum, yeah, so that's what we're about. And again, you might have seen a couple of logos with some environmental. We'd want to use arts and conservation, and kind of that's it. Thanks, Mookie.
Yep. So we're at table 10, and I think we're done.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, really long title there. I prefer to call it a 5G puppet show. And hopefully you'll see in a minute why I think that's the case. I'm Rafi. I'm co-founder of Falcon and Storm. We're a story studio. And what we do is we help tech startups bring meaning to their amazing technology with character-driven storytelling. And we also help established media companies make smarter choices in tech to advance their production and storytelling capabilities. And one of our clients in the latter category makes preschool animated shows. And one day we received an email from a guy whose daughter suffered from a severe seizure disorder that impacted her development both physically and cognitively. And this little girl discovered one of our YouTube channels at 6 months old. And that wasn't because her parents were responsible by showing her YouTube at 6 months. It was more to do with her condition. You see, she had just had a really bad seizure, and the ambulance was taking her to the hospital. And seizures are nasty and painful. The child was really unhappy, and the paramedic pulled out his phone and put Giggle Bellies on, that's the name of the show, and she was transfixed. And that show became the only show she ever watched every day for the next 9 years. And despite her challenges in development, this little girl's ability to communicate with her family and friends actually grew through this content and her viewing of this content. So clearly, it was a real heartwarming and humbling email to receive in our inbox. And it kind of motivated the company to ask how, as content creators, they could have more of an active participation in bringing joy to their viewers. So we started thinking about, what's our overall mission? Our mission is kind of to bring smiles to kids in hospital wards through a magical portal bursting with joyful, interactive cartoon characters. So our objectives break down into creating magic on the hospital ward, because we want to help children escape to a fantasy world and interact with animated characters, because we think that's going to really appeal to them. And we want to be able to connect to any child anywhere. Any child in need should be able to connect to this animated character. We also think a two-way broadcast is really key to this, because both the child and the performer behind the animated character should be able to express themselves naturally. And this is really all about facilitating a meaningful connection between children and characters that brighten their day. So it's got to be interactive. And if we're going to be interactive, we may as well empower the children to direct the adventure a little bit. So with so much in their world out of their control, particularly with sick children, we think we can create ways to make the child feel empowered as they explore the magical world with the animated character, making choices because, here they're the ones in control. And we want it to be immersive, so how we realize and house this portal is part of that magical connection between the child's reality and the imaginary world that they escape to. And now, around the same time that we were talking about this at LunarX, which is my client, Rock Nakajima from Noiton was also talking to me about wanting to do more good with the motion capture suits and technology that they have in their company. So here's a quick look at some of their tech. So you can see a performer there performing in real time, an animated character being driven in real time on a screen. So this is kind of like a signage for sort of marketing and promotion sort of at events, and you can also broadcast it into an AR experience, as you can see there on the phone. The guy in the background is wearing the suit, but the animated character is the stuff that the viewers get to watch. And it doesn't matter what style the character is in. It could be an anthropomorphic animal, could be a sort of more of a humanoid character. So that's the screen, and then the screen in this video you can see is housed in something that's thematically linked to the content. So whilst this stuff is really for commercial clients and advertisers and stuff, we thought why not leverage the same sort of technology to do something more meaningful with children. Now this is very much location-based, so the performer and the tech is all on the same site. But we're thinking with 5G technology and some of the infrastructure that people in the room have been talking about, we might be able to open this up to a sort of more of a global broadcast system. So again, Rock's team have sort of sketched out this pipeline. We really welcome experts in this room to partner with us on this and really sense check some of this infrastructure. The stuff on the right and in the yellow bubble is where the performer is anywhere in the world. And the stuff in the blue bubble is the viewer, the audience, the hospital, anywhere in the world. And the gray bit in the middle is really the stuff that connects both aspects of the chain. So we want to utilize AnySign, which is the tech you just saw in this video, and the motion capture hardware that Noitom's got sort of down to a T. And we're thinking 5G would enable the performers and audiences to connect. We're wondering whether high-res displays like 8K or maybe even holographic displays would be the right way to do it. But then again, this is open to experts in this room to advise on what would actually be a really immersive way of presenting this stuff. We would also like to motion track the display. Imagine it being a window that the children can sort of move through the space within the sort of 6DoF game environment. And obviously, if it's in a game engine, then we should be able to trigger events in the environment in response to the child's sort of emotions and interactions. And crucially, I personally am really excited about disguising the screen so it doesn't look like a screen, but it just dials up the magic. And here are some of the disguises that we've concepted. So it could be a rocket ship that's crash landed in the hospital, or a planet that's emerged, or a magic mirror, or a wardrobe door that you open up into another world. So far, the participants confirmed are Lunar X, which is my client, Noiton from a motion capture point of view, and AMD from the tech. We've contacted a number of people on the right on our wish list, but we're really looking for more participants and champions to support us on this project. Because we think this sort of infrastructure really does speak to this idea of a more sustainable and accessible and inclusive way to entertain children who need it the most. The reason I think this is sustainable is it doesn't involve expensive and costly render farms that burn up time, and I think it's also accessible because of its global reach. So that's all.